It says we are live.
It does?
It does.
Okay.
It
Maybe somebody will tell us if we are.
says we're live.
Hola, everybody. It's been a minute.
Just one?
Many minutes. So many minutes.
I can confirm we are live.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Whoever is watching doesn't believe we're around anymore. Hi, we're here.
It was just me, and now I'm not even watching because I turned it off because I was hearing myself. So.
Oh, okay. Anyway.
There we go. Now they're starting to filter in.
Hello. Let's see.
Sorry, I'm got the yawnies.
It's okay.
Oh, there we go. Just jumped up to 47.
Okay.
Oh, they rated Penny Arcade. See? We can't even rely on our own people.
What's going on, everybody? What is happening? Our first actual show of the new year. It's been a lot going on. So. Okay.
Let's see.
Hello, everybody. Hello. I'll do a bit of a catch-up show.
Let's see here. I gotta reestablish my my shortcuts for the chat since they changed the channel name. It's not GDI anymore. It's now DTNS or Daily Tech News Show.
Visionaries. Hello, everybody.
Pop out the chat. There we go. So how has your beginning of the year been, minus the obvious stress from the fires?
Not good. Because it just overwhelms. It overwhelms everything. Sorry. Like, I'm doing well. I mean, I am safe. So, yeah, but I'm still, my stomach, I'm like, I haven't been, no, I'm not good. I can't say that. I feel like most people in LA are like, yeah, we're not good. Like anytime like, oh, we're going to get wind. It's like, I haven't unpacked my go bag. Like, it's just not happening. I don't know when I'll feel safe again. It's going to be a while. And honestly, that it's like, you just basically, I don't know. I've just basically had to, do whatever I can to take my mind off it and,
well, at least you have TikTok.
Well, I almost didn't. I was like, well, God, like once again, this year, like, ugh. I already hate this year. It's terrible.
G. James B says there's too many celebrity deaths. I only know of a couple of minor celebrities.
Well, I guess
but I really don't pay attention.
Recently was Twin Peaks. Why am I blanking on his name?
David Lynch.
Yes. I didn't know that he went to this restaurant not too far from my house. It's Bob's Big Boy, and he went there every day at 2 p.m. to like write on his notebook and drink a chocolate shake and something, I think coffee. I don't know. Like he just did that on the reg. 2 p.m. I was like, oh, I missed out on that. I had no idea. I mean, I never go there, but.
Is that the original Bob's Big Boy?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, my grandpa used to take us down there once in a while.
Hello.
Welcome to 2025,
everyone.
everybody.
I feel like I haven't seen you in a million years.
I know it's been so long. I feel like I've aged like 10 years.
Yeah, well, join the club. Join the club.
I feel like
My boyfriend is having ankle surgery at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. Yay.
Oof.
That's going to be a lot of fun.
Okay. So you're going to take him there?
I don't know.
No?
I don't know. No, I mean,
You could take a cab.
It's not, no, it's not that I wouldn't do it, but it's like, you know,
I'll take
we
him
have
there.
sort
I'll
of like
order his Uber.
we have like a network of, you know, family and friends,
Yeah.
you know, which is you know, if I'm like, if you have to go there at 6 a.m. and I have to be in pre-op with you, I mean, I can't there's a certain point where, you know, on a working day for me, I need to not be here anymore. You know, your mom can take you home type thing. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's been great. It's been really great.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm kind of being cheeky. So Eileen, do you have any
Yes.
questions about the show?
No, I don't think so. I think I'm good.
Me too.
Yeah, we'll do a quick catch up. It's been a bit. It's been a minute.
It's been okay. So we didn't do. So the last show we did was it was Christmas week, and then we didn't do New Year's week because we had already decided we're not doing it, and this is our next show, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So bit of a catch up.
First of the year.
First of the year. Okay, so like super quick. I just want to be right before we
Oh yeah, go for it.
Debbie Scott's one. Yes, this is the first one of the year. Nick with a C. It is not 2016 all over again. And being that this is not my network, I will tell you to reach out to me on TikTok or Threads, and I'll explain to you how it's not 2016 all over again. When I am not on someone else's platform.
Sorry, I'm just looking at my email. I haven't looked at it in a while.
Oh, yeah. If anyone out there is looking to hire an HR professional, let me know.
Okay.
Yeah. 28 years of military experience. Looking for a job equivalent to a GS9 to GS11. Debbie's got his one says, as long as TikTok is still around, sure. Again, reach out to me. Nick with a C, yes, the military has HR, the government has HR. Most GS jobs are government, not military. So, but none of those matter now, as of yesterday.
Hello again.
Hello. Welcome back. Welcome back.
We're back. Amos, I haven't seen you in a minute either.
I've been around.
Yeah, he's like, I've literally been here the whole time, but okay. No, I just haven't seen, well, you were at CES, and then, you know, we weren't doing
last week was
AVS for a
briefing
couple
launch.
of weeks. And
yeah, last week was AVS or briefing launch, so I was pretty busy with that all week.
Well, Nick with a C asks, the military has HR? What did I miss when I walked away for a second?
Oh, I mentioned that if anybody out there has a GS9 to GS11 equivalent pay scale job and they need an HR person, that I know a person actively looking for employment. that is no
Oh,
longer
got
looking
it.
for the government to employ her because executive orders have come down to stop that.
Got it. Got it.
So you have the added benefit of putting food on my kid's table here in about a month.
I mean, we all like eating.
So yeah. If you don't like seeing me around the Diamond Club / Frog Pants universe, prepare for otherwise, because I'm taking every opportunity I can to do every job I can from here until my wife is fully employed.
All right. Well, you
Okay.
know what? That's what you do. Good husband. Good husband. All right. Well, Eileen, what do you think? Should we
Let's
get
do
going?
it.
Let's do
Yeah,
it.
let's do it.
Yeah. All right. Amos, if you're ready as well, I'll go ahead and count myself in, and everybody watching live, you're along for the ride as well. In at 3, 2. It is Apple Vision Show 2025, all things Apple, where we break down how Apple products affect our life, what we want, what we don't want, what we're happy about, and what we're not. Eileen Rivera, this is our first show of 2025. It's hard to believe that's true, but it is.
It is. Happy New Year, Sarah.
Thank
If you're
you.
watching on video, I'm doing the thumbs up, so I'm getting some fireworks behind me. Although, it hasn't really been the best start of the year, to be honest with you, which is why we haven't recorded. We are, as most of you know, in California, in Southern California, and it's been a little rough for
It has.
us
It has
here.
been a little rough.
So
It's true. Yes. Many of you, I'm sure, whether you're in our area or just follow news, know that Los Angeles had a very devastating series of fires right after New Year. And so 2025 has been a little bit of a struggle bus.
Yeah.
Eileen and I and those that, we know and love are all safe. I did have several friends who lost a lot of stuff in the
Mhm.
fires. I am not one of those people, so I count myself extremely lucky. And at the
Mhm.
same time, it's been a real. I keep telling people it's a sucker punch. That's what I
Yeah.
got. I got a sucker
Mhm.
punch. Because I thought
Mhm.
after 2024, I'm like, what could be worse than that? And
I
well,
know.
we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
But high hopes for us going forward this year. But on
Yes.
the Apple side, so even though I know that you and Eileen, were quite worried for ourselves and our loved
Mhm.
ones and our pets and everything. Another kind of crazy thing happened over the last weekend, and that was TikTok going dark, which it
Yes.
did, but like more briefly than I thought it would go.
Mhm. Yeah, less than 24 hours. I think, was it even less than 12 hours? Maybe a little bit
Yeah, I
more.
mean, I feel like in the morning I was like, oh, okay, TikTok is down. And by the
Yeah.
time I was eating pizza with some friends later, they were like, oh, yeah, no, it's back up.
Yeah,
I was like,
exactly,
oh.
exactly. And it was sort of rolling out slowly. Like, you guys know I have 2 phones. So my Android phone started working first for TikTok. And then, like, I don't know, within like 20 minutes, my iPhone started working again. And it was a little glitchy at the beginning. But what really, really pissed me off was that, of course, all of the ByteDance apps, including Lemonade, if you use that, I'd barely set up an account, but CapCut. You guys, if you've been following, you know how much I love that app.
We love
And I was
CapCut.
I was in denial that was going to get shut down if TikTok got shut down. But you know what? It went down. It went down. And then that actually took longer to work for me. And there was people, oh, here's the workaround. Go, airplane mode, no Wi-Fi. I'm like, oh, why do you have to have a workaround? Just make it work. So it was a bit of a disruption, and it also just illuminated the fact that I love that app so much. So, should
Yeah.
TikTok go down again and stuff, I don't know. I mean, sure. I know that there are other apps out there, but they're just not as good. I can tell you that right now. Not for the things that I do. I mean, obviously, if you're working on a television show, if you're working on something like bigger projects, that might, Premiere or Avid or whatever. You have your,
Sure.
but
Mhm.
like for those of us that are making videos on YouTube and social, and like I'm telling you, CapCut is the best right now. I mean, actually, too, TikTok's editing tools are pretty good. They're not as good as CapCut, but they're way better than Instagram. Instagram is the worst editor. I can't stand it as it stands currently. Captioning, just like the camera, it's all yuck. It is like,
Okay.
how in the world is this so far behind what people have been using for years on TikTok?
Well, and I think that that's it. For people who don't hang out and use TikTok as, I mean, whether I don't consider myself a creator, because I don't create things on TikTok, but I definitely consume what creators do, and it runs the gamut, right? It's like there are things where you're like, it's not for me, and other things where you're like, wow, that was really creative. You really put a lot of work into that, or somebody did, right? So going back to your point of Instagram just not having those same kind of tools that that help people put out stuff on the internet that other people are like, wow, that's like really fun, and like, I love this app. Eileen, I'm sure you're well aware that during TikTok's very, very brief blackout time, Meta, obviously parent company of Instagram and Facebook and WhatsApp, on Sunday announced a new video editing app called Edits. This is definitely a CapCut competitor. That is exactly what they're doing. I think that Meta was hoping maybe TikTok will be down for 12 hours. And that wasn't the case, but it does because I know folks who have put sort of like their I am a creator and my livelihood is in Instagram instead of TikTok. I mean, many people do both, which is probably the right call. But there are folks who just have not gone over to TikTok. I feel like this is a great tool for them. And I guess if somebody was like, if TikTok goes away, I'll go over to Instagram and, use the new edits tool and more or less have the same kind of tools I had before. I'm not sure. I feel like, and Tom, your husband, was talking about this on DTNS just a few minutes ago, that Lomar Wilson, friend of the show, of course, was like, if I have any good advice to give anyone, who wants to be a content creator, who wants to be online, who wants to make their money this way, don't put your eggs in one basket. Do all of the things, figure out what the best thing is for you, but don't just say like, oh no, I'm only on TikTok, because if TikTok goes dark, then where are you?
Exactly. Yeah. Well, a lot of people were moving to a Chinese app.
Red Note.
Yeah. I'm on there just to see what that was about, and I'll keep posting on there. But it's just interesting. Like, and there's a lot of people that are, and it's true. The experience on TikTok, moving that to Reels just doesn't work. It's not the same. It's just not. Maybe one day it could be, but people don't talk the way they do on TikTok on Reels. I've certainly moved some of my TikTok videos onto Reels with, varying results. But I don't publish as much video on there as I would on TikTok. And I use stories a lot more on Instagram itself. So I'm curious. I'm sure that, I will I've already downloaded the app. This is coming soon. Great. I can't wait. And, I can't wait to test it. I mean, they know what is in CapCut. You can download it and try it. So if you're going to be a competitor, you got to come to the table with a lot of that. They also know what's in TikTok. So, sometimes I don't even use CapCut. I can just go straight to the editor on TikTok if it's just like a rough kind of, edit. So bring it, Instagram. Just show me the goods, and maybe I'll, move over. And I don't now, is there a desktop app with this, or is it just phone. It feels like I think it's just the phone, and maybe not even iPad. But anyway, we'll see more. I'm open. I'm open to the possibilities, and I'm happy to find something that may not go down.
Yeah.
But it's
Also
it's an annoying.
it's also, I mean, I don't know. I feel like I definitely am online as much as the next person. You
Mhm.
are more than I am, Eileen. I mean, you have like
Mhm.
a big following on TikTok. And I can imagine that when if you were to be like, all right, well, where do we all go? Where
Yeah.
do my people go? Where do they find me?
Mhm.
Some people who are, kind of in the mix, sure, would do that. But other
Mhm.
people will just lose you.
Yeah.
And for any creator who's like, this is my livelihood, this
Yeah.
is the way I make money. Um, you have like a tier of folks. Like you have like the people who are like, you make money on the internet. Like, what are you
Right.
doing?
Yeah.
And then you
Yeah.
have people who they get it, but they're like, well,
Mhm.
but I don't care that much to like follow you
Mhm.
everywhere. And then you have, the third tier of like people who are like, I get it and I will follow you everywhere and I will,
Yeah.
make sure that you let me know where to find you. But
Mhm.
that's a lot of work.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I started my TikTok. I started becoming more active on it maybe around 2022. And then just last year, I started putting stuff over on Instagram. I haven't done it on YouTube Shorts because that's just 1 minute long, if you want to do the vertical shorts. And even if I have stuff that's short, I just haven't done it. And I think there's a lot of people that are like, you should just do YouTube. And I'm like, well, yeah, I know. I mean, I used to work, maybe because I used to work there. I'm like, I don't want to.
Yeah.
But Lamar is correct. You should be diversifying your content in different places, and not put all your eggs in one area. And there was a lot of people like that on TikTok. Now some of the people that were, on TikTok, if you're like selling things, you are depend on the TikTok store. Well, that's not that's not anything that you're going to get elsewhere. It is specific to TikTok. So certainly, people that are running small businesses, using the store on TikTok, and you know just even content creators that are able to get a percentage of a sale. Yeah, it's a big miss to drop that app. And I don't know. I mean, I'm thinking like, okay, well, just think ahead, it could happen again. Okay.
Yeah, that's
Someone
true.
like me will survive. I mean, I don't depend on social media for, it's just fun. I like doing it. And as a content creator, I like to have sort of the best
Yeah.
options. And for what I do think TikTok is the best. And, and Instagram Reels like a second. And it's not that horrible. I'm just talking about the edit is horrible. Like some people don't like the fact that it doesn't have the same algorithm, like the algorithm on TikTok is really, really, really good. And so on Instagram, you're like, well, it's, it's kind of
You know
subpar.
what? And that is, I mean, that's a fair comparison. They
Mm,
aren't the same. I mean,
hmm.
so for example, when because over the weekend I was like TikTok.com. Nope,
Yeah.
nope, not
Yeah.
it's back.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all I thought about it. But when I finally got back onto TikTok, I wasn't logged in. And so I
Hmm.
was like, what is going on my timeline? And I
Mm,
realized, oh, it's because they don't know who I am yet.
yeah.
Because if I log in, then they're like, you want to see photos of dogs being rescued.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. You want to see, people doing like gymnastics feats that are like really hard to do. Yep, that's me. But if but if TikTok doesn't know me, it's like, well, let's look at some stuff. And I was looking at it and I'm like, oh God, what a cesspool. I mean, that you
Yeah.
can say that about
Yeah.
any
Yeah.
social network at all. I mean, it started with Facebook, right? Where people were like,
Mhm.
oh God, I mean, who wants to see this stuff? And
Mhm.
then, Instagram for the most part, also has that. Especially now that it's introduced a lot of videos. And on TikTok, I watched this thing this morning. It was like a very long TikTok of a woman talking about how she had a bad date. And, where I
Oh,
was like,
yeah.
ooh, maybe this is going to get spicy.
Mhm.
No, it was just like a really long video that was not interesting. Or I was
She
like,
didn't. She didn't land. She didn't make. She
she
didn't stick
just,
the
yeah,
landing.
like they did not get married. But,
Okay.
but at the end of it, I was like, why? Why? And then I realized, oh, I'm not logged in. Durr. So, yeah.
Yeah, you got to teach it, like just like with
Yeah.
why I use Spotify over Apple Music because I've taught Spotify my listening habits. I haven't done that with Apple Music. I just haven't. So if
Right.
you can, the more that you log in, the more that you like things or dislike things, so you don't see that in your feed, the better that it'll get. But even so, I still think TikTok has a better algorithm than Instagram. But
I mean, it definitely has the ice cream algorithm, which is what I like
mhm.
to call something where people are like, yum, 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 more, please. I want it.
um,
I like it.
Laminar Rainbow says, I think shorts are now 3 minutes. Is that true?
Yes,
Maybe I
it
missed the memo
is.
on that. Oh, okay. Well, maybe,
Yeah.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
still don't want
That
to
was
put my face
another
on
thing
YouTube.
that Instagram did over
Yeah.
the weekend. They were like,
hmm
give the people what they want.
Oh, wait, you're talking about Instagram reels, not
Y-
YouTube shorts.
No,
When
Instagram
Laminar,
Reels.
yes, I knew about Instagram reels. Yeah, I got that notice the other day too. I thought Laminar Rainbow was mentioning shorts, YouTube shorts. I'm like, isn't that
Oh,
still
if
1 minute?
that's the case, then maybe that is also true. I'm not totally sure about that.
No, I haven't heard anything, but anyway,
I
let
haven't
me
either.
know if that is. I still don't
Yeah,
know if
for
I'm going to
sure.
jump to YouTube, but they should make it longer. They should
They should.
just make it 3 minutes, 3 minutes, and then you don't need to go longer than that.
Well, before we take a quick break, we have a couple other news stories to talk about. One is Apple significantly declining in not declining in iPhone sales, but declining as the leader of smartphone
Mm,
sales in China, dropping
hmm
from the first position to the country's fourth in the fourth quarter of 2024 into, I believe it's third place. Okay, so Counterpoint Research does a lot of these crunching number stuff. iPhone shipments in China fell by 18.2% year on year in the final quarter of 2024. So, this is, wrapping up the end of last year. That made it a 17.1 market share for the company. That places it behind Huawei and Xiaomi, both of which captured 18.1, 17.2% of the market. I know I'm throwing out a bunch of numbers right now, but Apple used to have a 90% share. So going from 19% to 17.1, on paper you might say, how much does this matter? Well, as a billion-dollar
It does.
company with China being a very, very big market that was very, very bullish and perhaps, a little shaky at this point, it is a big deal.
So, could it be because Apple is lagging behind on things, tech wise? Like, I'm reading this article and it feels like they're pointing towards like Apple Intelligence is not rolled out in various regions, and
I
if
think
there's
that's
other
part of it.
phones,
Yeah,
if
sure.
there's other phones that have that feature and that do it well, like they're not, some people don't want to wait. They want to have the most advanced technology, if possible, and if it's cheaper. So, it's just interesting. Yeah, I think there's going to be like ups and downs. There's always going to be competitors that'll jump forward, and maybe Apple will jump forward after that for at the end of the, who knows, but that's what competition is, right, Sarah? Like, um
Yeah.
yeah, it's interesting, but yeah, you're right. It is a lot. That any point there is that's a lot to lose.
I also feel like, uh, it's not unlike, like a cool pair of shoes or a handbag, like when it comes to like a smartphone, there was a time where it's like, oh, well, if you have an iPhone, like that's the coolest smartphone, right? And not everybody felt that way. So, do not come for me, Android people. But if you're looking specifically about like how much money can you spend, here's the phone for you. You have a lot of options at this point. And Apple in China, they can't possibly compete with, the Xiaomi's and the Huawei's because those phones are also really, really good. They're not the same. If you want to go iOS, you got to go Apple. That's the deal. But I think that a lot of people have people who have disposable income can buy a lot of other things.
Yeah. Well, AI, is like it's the thing to have, and if it's subpar, I feel like people are really interested in it, and consumer. I think more consumers are interested than not. So anyway.
Speaking of Apple and artificial intelligence, when this is the news story that came in from MacRumors. Shout out to you, MacRumors. When installing Mac OS Sequoia, so on the Mac, 15.3 or iOS 18.3 or iPadOS 18.3, Apple Intelligence will be turned on automatically on compatible devices. That's what Apple said in its developer release notes for the updates. Now, I don't have a problem with this. Some people do. Some people very much are, sort of like, turned on by default. We don't even know if it's good or not. I'm still, Eileen, I'm still on the whole like the turning on summaries for emails, messages, and a variety of notifications. I wish I had never done this. And no, they're horrible. Maybe
Apple's getting a lot of flack for they're not good. Yeah.
They're not good. Well, they're trying to be good. It's just like, that's not what the email was about. Like, no, I don't want that. I have been, which is weird, on iOS versus Mac. This is sort of a fun story. I was like, okay, I can't have emails come in like this. Let's turn off summaries. Did that. But it was like, oh, but that was Mac OS, not iOS. So then I had to do it again. And then it was like, oh, but like messages, I don't want that. Okay, turn it off. Oh, but now it's still on my Mac. Apple did not handle this well. Let's be honest. Summary, if you like summaries, I am, kudos.
Then you're fine
Kudos
with it,
to you.
yeah.
Yeah, like I'm not telling you it's a bad thing. For me, it did not work well, and it was really hard to turn off.
Okay. I mean, I don't really think it's good either. I think I'm just lazy and I see it and I go, okay, maybe that's right. Maybe that's wrong. Sometimes if it's just like a headline, great. Now I see it and maybe I'll read the news that notification was related to. But it's kind of not fair. Like you should opt in versus just being driven there. I know it's the business way to just get people to start using it versus not, because if it doesn't turn on, you'll maybe not know it's there. So yeah, I mean, how long did it take you to disable the notifications?
Well, I mean, disabling one of them, not hard, where I'm like, oh, I have to do it like individually. It's like, I don't have my phone on me this second, but like, I don't go into like settings general and then be like off. No, it's like, I have to go into messages and be like, don't do that anymore. No more summaries. Then I have to do that for email. If there is a like a master switch that I'm not aware of, somebody please tell us. Feedback at applefishonshow.com. Would love to know. But otherwise, no, it's like I'm like slowly opting out of this thing that I opted into. I did. So that's on me a little bit. But yeah, though I hate them.
they've been quite troublesome for many of us if if you use them, meaning like it's been incorrect. Like when it's incorrect and it causes a panic or it causes discussion that doesn't need to be there,
We
that's
talked
a
about
problem.
this. It was like over Thanksgiving, right? I
Mhm.
remember telling the story where a friend of mine on Facebook Messenger of all things, like had
Mhm.
sent me like a, sort of like a happy Thanksgiving. But what I got in the summary was like very strange. And I was
Mm.
like, oh my gosh, I have to call my friend.
Yeah,
You know, it
it'll
was
give you,
like
and then your
it,
Apple
it, di-
Watch will your
it
Apple
didn't
Watch will
work.
tell you
Like
that
it
your
did
heart
not
rate is up.
work. It did not work as advertised. No, it did not. All right. Well, listen, we are going to take a quick break here and come back and talk a little bit about what we've been watching. So, Eileen,
Yes.
are you up to date on Severance?
Yes. Well, I watched. Isn't there one episode out, or is there
Yeah.
two?
Just
There's
the
one. There's just one. Okay. Okay.
I'm
Yes.
just so,
Then
I'm just
yes.
so excited about it.
I was
and I
like-
know I wanted to ask you about that before. We're gonna talk about what we've been watching in a few minutes, but yes, I'm very excited about it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm glad that they had sort of the, whenever you had last time, last year on Severance, I needed that. Did you watch it again by any chance or no before it started? I did not. So I needed that like, a short, the remember when video. before.
The summary. No,
The summary,
that
yeah.
was helpful for me as well. But I've got a friend who loves the show as well, and I was like, we can't just go into this blind. Like, I need to know. Like, let's watch the last episode of the first season.
That's probably smart.
So,
Yeah.
but and they were like, okay, cool. So we did like, and we looked at each other afterwards, and we're like, I think we need to go back a few more episodes. Like it's like I know what happened like on a high level, but I don't remember enough. I feel like I'm doing myself a disservice for like going into season 2 blind. But before we get to that, and we will in a few minutes, but wanted to ask you, Eileen, as we go into 2025 and 2025, as we mentioned earlier in the show, especially for those who are on the live stream who were listening to us talk about, just sort of the chaos that has been Los Angeles recently. And I know a lot of people everywhere have a lot of chaos in their lives. What could Apple help us with? What do you think?
Well, we were kind of talking about it earlier in terms of Apple Intelligence kind of potentially failing for other countries, which is why they're losing share in China. And I'm there with, I think, Siri. I wrote it down on my notes. Siri needs to grow up. Siri needs to advance itself. Siri needs to seriously get into college. Like it's lagging right now. Like whenever my dog's 7, I call him Sevi. And sometimes I say that. Oh, a lot of times I say that, and she pops up. I'm like, I did not call you. Like, did not. When I call you, you should know. So I just think it's we know that it was not going to be ready for prime time, but it really needs to be this year. Like we can't wait anymore. It's not about 2026. I think it needs to shape up. Like mid-year is kind of what I'm thinking. And if it doesn't, it's just kind of and we've said, well, eventually it's not the sprint, it's the marathon, and maybe it'll eventually be the best. But things are moving so fast with technology these days. Like get with it, faster. And I understand like security is the biggest, issue for a lot of this. And that's why a lot of people feel safe using Apple products because safety first, right? But I needed to, even just like, I don't know, just some of the stuff that has launched. It's okay. Image Playground, like, okay, I mean, it's
Oh,
fine.
I know. Someone asked me
Um,
the other day, they were like, what's a Genmoji? And I'm like, I mean, I don't know. Like, you can have some fun with it, but like, this is not something that you need in your life.
yeah,
It
I don't
really
need.
isn't.
Do I really need to put myself as like a astronaut in space?
I mean,
And
maybe, but then it's going to be this like tiny thing that you send to somebody and they're like, what's that? And then you have to have a
yeah,
conversation about it.
I mean, I made some images and then I just kind of just okay, bye. I don't need it. So I want us. Siri needs to grow up, so you need to use it. Oh, oops, sorry guys. SIRI. That's what I hope for. I want it
Yeah.
to be useful, like really useful, that you want to use it, and we're not there.
I think so I agree with you that we have a long way to go. One of the things that a couple of years ago when I had bought some, smart light bulbs
Hmm.
and then, figured out that I had some, smart home technology machines, of, that could all talk to each other. I was sort of like, do I choose Amazon or do I choose Apple? And at the time, that would be HomeKit, which it still
Hmm.
is. And I was like, what do I like? I have to choose one.
Mm.
I'm just gonna like close my eyes and choose one. And I chose Amazon for this specifically. But that's one of the things about, you mentioned SIRI
Hmm.
and, HomeKit. HomeKit will occasionally like give me like a weird pop-up on my phone, like, oh, your HomeKit house didn't recognize it, like it's like not responding, where I'm like, what would responding
Hmm.
to? Like, what is
Hmm.
this? I have no idea what's going on. And it's probably because I've done something on the HomeKit side that then it's
Hmm.
trying to draw from, even though my
Hmm.
entire house is on the, her name is
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
side. So, but I've thought here and there about like, well, what if I just like moved over to HomeKit?
Hmm.
Like I have
Yeah.
no, like Amazon's not paying me. I don't care.
Right. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
might be like kind of annoying to do that, but like I could, right? And then I
Hmm.
could
Hmm.
all kind of be in the same ecosystem. I'm wondering if anybody has done that out there because I haven't done this. I know it's going to
Hmm.
be super annoying and every single light bulb is going to be like, we don't know who you're talking to, that kind of thing. But
Yeah.
if you have done that and you have any tips, feedback at applevisionshow.com, I would appreciate that because this is sort of, one of these like, oh, over the holidays, fun project because I'm not doing anything else. But
Yeah.
Eileen, we have not stopped going. So
Yeah.
I have not
Yeah.
had one of those like week-long projects where
Yeah.
everything in
Yeah.
my house is now associated with, with a different light bulb.
Oh, I'm telling you, I had lots of projects that I wanted to do and got derailed by Mother Nature at the
Hmm.
beginning of the year. So, I would love to, I mean, if you switch, that'd be awesome to, follow you and your experience
Yeah.
in switching,
Well, and I have friends who, I mean, they are technical folks. They're like, oh
Hmm.
yeah, HomeKit works really well. And I'm like, see, but you have
Hmm.
to like choose one, like you have to start with HomeKit at the beginning. For me to
Hmm.
go to HomeKit at this point, it's like, that's gonna be a long day, but could be fun also. It's
Hmm.
fun to tinker. And
Yeah.
I also feel like HomeKit should be called something else. HomeKit
Mm.
makes it seem like you're in the garage, with a bunch of, like
Oh.
weird like hammers.
I mean, it is wires and connection to, I don't know. Yeah. Okay. What would you call it?
I
Do you
don't
have any?
know. I don't know. Like Apple
Just Apple
Home
Home? Yeah. Okay.
or
Yeah. Apple
something
Home.
like that.
Keep it simple. Yeah.
Just like, come on, Apple, give me the thing that you wanted to give me in the beginning anyway.
I mean, I guess
Well,
like HomeKit kind of feels like it's a repair, whereas it should be just
that's
a
the
robust
problem.
system.
Yeah, it's like I'm
right?
like, oh well, I'm not really much of a tinkerer.
Yeah.
HomeKit.
I
Yeah.
think of like my Band-Aid kit, I've got my kit here if I, when I travel to keep
Exactly.
my
Yeah.
Band-Aids
I have
and
I have
like
my small, Phillips screwdriver just in case. All right.
yeah.
So, let's go back to TV. We're talking about
Mhm.
TV that is on Apple TV Plus specifically, and we mentioned
Yes.
Severance. So, Severance, I've been not fighting with people about Severance, but people have many different feelings about, whether Severance is this a show about work? Like a office space type show, or is this like a a show that is about sort of like space or science fiction? What are we doing here? And I'm like, I think it's kind of all of the three. I mean,
because there's a little bit of quirkiness, involved with the
it's
characters, but
quirkiness.
it's not a
Yeah.
comedy though,
It's not. I mean, there are funny moments. Yeah, like it's like dramedy? I don't know. I
Yeah.
never really liked that word, but I guess that's what it is. It's not like a comedy. It really isn't.
Yeah.
You have some fun moments, but it's a dark show.
Yeah.
Anyway, they're back. Severance is back. And I am excited about it, and I need to watch season 1 again before I can fully absorb season 2. But
How many
what do you?
episodes are we getting? Are we getting
think
last
it's 10.
season was 9. Okay, last season was 9. So if we get 10, that's one more. Yeah, that's
It
great.
would be, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so every Friday.
Yes, and again, this is Apple TV Plus, right? So you can't binge this. You're gonna have to watch. It's appointment viewing, once a week, which is I don't really mind that. Some people get really bent out of shape about that. How do you feel about that, Eileen?
I'm okay. It depends. Sometimes though, I'm okay with appointment viewing. I think if I'm late to the party and I end up binging a whole season in like a week, then sometimes I'm like, oh, that was better. I think it was better as a binge than waiting. Sometimes I
Yeah.
feel that way. But I mean, I also like the break in between, of like, let my brain rest for a little bit. Something like Severance too. Let my brain rest for a little bit. If it's a comedy show, yeah, give it all to me. I want drop it all 8 episodes. Thank you. And I'll just speed through it.
Yeah.
It's fine. It just depends. I think it depends on the show. Yeah.
Totally.
But I miss, I think it's because I'm old and I'm just like, oh, I liked appointment viewing. I liked it when everybody talked about the episode, on a weekly basis, it's kind of messy right now, meaning it's just all over the place. You've got some shows that just drop everything and some
Yes.
shows that are weekly. So,
Well,
everybody's fragmented,
Right. So for example, last night, a friend of mine was like, have you seen the latest not Industry? What's the one with Michael Fassbender? I have to look it up.
What is it? Let's see.
Hold on. I should really know this.
Are you watching it?
The Agency. The Agency.
Oh, yes, I've heard of that. Yes.
So, this is not an Apple TV Plus show, but yeah, a lot of people love The Agency. And and he was like, "Are you caught up?" And I'm like, "Haven't started." And he was like,
Yeah.
"Can we watch it?" And I'm like, because I really want to, like new episodes drop. This is Tuesday, so this was like Sunday when we were having this conversation. He's like, really want to watch it. And I'm like, sure, I don't care. I mean, I don't even know what the show's about. Doesn't matter to me. But like, this is like, I'm just, it's like an hour that I can't be a part of because I didn't know, like, I knew about the show, but like, I don't know when it launched. I haven't been watching every week. And when someone's like, new episodes every Friday or Sunday or whatever, I'm like, well, if I'm on the same train, great. Like, you want to watch Jeopardy every night? I'm there. Like,
that you
but,
can
like,
pick up at any time. Yeah.
yeah,
But this show,
right.
yeah.
But I'm behind on lots of shows that people really, really like. And that's because it's just the world that we live in where and this is, I don't totally want to be on my soapbox, but for 1 second, if you will indulge me, this is why when people are like, spoiler alert, I'm like, you know what? It used to be that if you watched something live, then you watched it. If for some reason you couldn't watch it and you see it after the fact, then okay. That's two scenarios. Now it's like everything I want to talk about, half the time someone's like, no spoilers. I might not watch that show for like 3 years. Do not spoil it for me. And I'm like, come on. We have to get to a certain point where we can talk about stuff. Or
Right.
I guess we just, go on to Reddit groups and talk about things with other people who have watched these things, and we don't talk about it with our other friends.
Yeah. I mean, some people, they don't care about spoilers, and some people really do because the experience does change, you miss the surprise and stuff. So I get it. Really, don't tell me, or if I talk about a show on social media, I have to be like, okay, spoiler alert. If you have not watched, put the big red, symbol, alert symbol, and move on. And if I don't do that, then they get so mad, right? They're like, you should have said that you were gonna. Okay, all right, I understand.
I actually had this situation. So, Eileen, do you watch the show Peaky Blinders?
No, I haven't, but I've heard it's fantastic. Yeah.
Same. So I have not watched it either.
Okay.
And I just, it's on the list type thing. And but I've heard great things. And somebody a friend of mine who is like going through the show sort of like after the fact, a little bit like, oh, I heard it. I also heard it was cool, but I just like didn't watch it. I just like thought it was a different kind of show, whatever. He's very into it now. And the other night he was like, oh my gosh, the last episode, the most recent episode that I watched of Peaky Blinders was crazy. And I was like, cool, what happened? Sort of a throwaway.
You're not sure if you're going to watch it. Yeah.
Yeah. And he was like, oh, so-and-so died. And I was like, oh. And he was like, but you don't care. And I'm like, well, I might care later. Now I know that so-and-so might die. It's funny the way spoilers work, because it's like, I actually don't care that much. I'm like, all right, whatever. So I got a spoiler. If I want to watch the show, I'm going to watch the show. It's like a 8-season series, it's like it's
some
it's
of
a
those
lot of
it's
show.
like if I feel like if you're late to the party, well, it's all out there, it's going to be hard to avoid. So and
you can do your best to avoid it. And also, like, I don't know, I know people get really bent out of shape about spoilers, and I get that. I just feel like if I encounter one, it's my own damn fault, because I was online, and that's what you get. So.
James B mentioned Succession. And I have to say, my experience with Succession was this. I put it off for years. And finally, before the beginning of the 3rd season, I'm like, fine, I'll watch it. Well, I watched season 1 and 2 so fast, and it was so good. And I could remember every single detail. And then it was just like I got cut off at the knees.
That's the best way.
I got cut off at the knees. And then I had to wait week to week. And it was still such a great show. But I'm like, that was a show I wish I would have watched just all the way through, because I just felt like I understood everything and I didn't forget what was going on in the lives.
Yeah.
Because, you have to wait, almost a year for the next season. And so I don't know how many seasons does Succession have. Once I was
3.
going week to week, I was kind of like, it didn't lose like its shine for me. Like, I still love the show, but that feeling of like, oh my god, because they had really good cliffhangers on every single episode. I was like, oh, that's a show that I was able to stay away from spoilers And it was so much fun as a binge. And it felt a little bit let down when I had to do week to week. But that's,
It's funny. I had watched Succession from the beginning. So yeah, like 2 seasons had gone by, and it had become one of those shows that people are like, "This is a really good show." Like people want to talk about the show. Like, have you watched Succession? That kind of thing. Like, if you haven't, you're like, okay, you can't be a part of our group. And at one point, I was at my mom's house and I was like visiting, and I'm like, and you haven't watched any of it? And she's like, no, never even heard of the show. And I'm like, let's watch it. We'll watch it from the beginning. I think it was like because the third and final season was about to launch, and she was just like, like, I don't want to watch the show that I don't know anything about.
Yeah.
So we started, season 1, episode 1. And she like, during like the intro, like song and video, she was like, so this is a show about like rich people? And I'm like, yes. And lots of other things.
Yes.
And she was like, at first she was like, I don't know. All right. And then like by the time like season 3 started, like she was watching it week to week along with me. Like, like she was like, love that show.
Into it. Yeah,
sometimes she loved that show.
When you read a premise, it doesn't really fully give you the accurate picture of what you're going to be delving into, and that definitely from the surface sort of it's a bunch of rich people and their problems, but then when you're like, oh, I love their problems, they're messed up, that's cool. Like I don't want to be them.
This is entertainment for the rest of us. What does it say about us? Not sure, but we like the show.
We liked watching them dissolve into like the madness of it all, and I was like, this is good. There's nobody that you should really like. They're all despicable, but who's my favorite out of the most despicable? Let's choose.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. Oh boy. Well, Succession. Some friends of mine who we talk in an entertainment focused Slack group about, basically just like movies and TV. Like, what's this movie about? Did you like this movie? Here's a TV series you like, anime series you might like, all the things. One of our jokes is like, Succession back?
Yeah.
Because it won't be. But for a while, for like a few years, we were just like, we want Succession. Is Succession back? Like, when's Succession back? Which is how I feel about The Bear now. It's like, is The Bear back?
Oh, yeah.
Is The Bear back? Yeah. Which I think it's supposed to be in March, actually.
I think it's coming up. Yeah, coming up very soon.
I think it's coming up. Show. Again, not an Apple Vision show, but a Apple Vision show. What am I talking about? Apple TV Plus show. Apple Vision show is the one you're listening to right now. But yes. It's good. It's good stuff. And if you got an Apple TV, you might watch all of these shows.
Exactly. That's how I watch all my shows. I've got the apps on the Apple TV, and then boom, I'm there. And I've got the one remote, or I have my phone as a remote, which is very handy as well when I can't find the actual remote. Oh, no. Okay, let me just use my phone.
The Apple TV remote. I am still in a big fight with Apple TV remote. It's too sleek. It's going into my couch cushions every 5 seconds. I hate it. I really hate it.
Yeah, but you want something bigger, something you could find.
Yeah, I don't know. Something that I don't know. It just doesn't work for me. But when I compare Apple TV, which is the system I use in my bedroom, to WebOS, which is my smart TV, my LG TV in my living room, oh my gosh, boy, Apple TV is a much better situation. Not that WebOS is all bad. It's not. It just feels like cobbled together.
Oh, yeah.
Versus,
I could see that.
A company being like, here's going to be your new, TV and movie experience. I really do. I Apple TV fan here.
Well,
Apple TV fan over here.
There was a rumor about Apple making their own television, right?
Oh yeah, that's been going on for years.
Yeah, right. Like I'd be game if it wasn't, $10,000. So, which I feel like it would be when it comes out.
We have lots of rumors. It's like Apple's making a car.
Yeah.
Apparently not the case.
Yeah.
Apple's making its own Apple TV. Not the hockey puck, but like an actual television. Well, maybe 2025 is our year, Eileen. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm just asking for SIRI to be much more, robust. That's my wish. At the end of the year, we'll figure it out if it has been or not.
Well, listen, as we wrap up our episode 45 of Apple Vision Show, Happy New Year, everyone, wherever you are. We hope you're safe and sound, and we're happy to be back in the mix after being away for a few weeks. Reminder, if you have feedback on anything we talk about, anything you would like us to talk about, feedback at Apple Vision Show is a great way to get a hold of us. We would like you to email us early and often. But until next time, Eileen, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap this one up. And everybody, if you've enjoyed Apple products, you want different Apple products, and you're hoping for something different here in 2025, do let us know.
Yeah, please.
Yes. Until then,
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Apple Vision Show episode 45 in the can. Talk to you next time.
All right, so I will look into it. YouTube Shorts, 3 minutes now. But like I said, I don't like to put my stuff on YouTube, but we'll see. We'll see. Maybe I'll do some tests. I put a few things on YouTube Shorts, but I'm really not, making a lot of headway, or considering it something that I would do on the reg. So, but thank you for that. It's been there since October, I guess. Did not know that, but good. Also, a lot of the shorts that I watch are not 3 minutes long, so I didn't know. I watch a lot of YouTube, and I, may occasionally watch a short. I usually just watch long form on YouTube, and the shorts that I see are not 3 minutes. So maybe I'm just not getting them posted, or the dominant is still like a minute long. But yeah, we'll see. I'm glad it's there. People like to talk. Thank you everybody for being here.
Indeed. It has been quite a month. What about you, Amos? How's everything going in the I don't know, the large
life.
family that loves to move around in caravans all the time?
We had a great holiday, and then CES, and now it's trying to return back to normal with my wife finally fully retired.
Yay!
So she's been resting up and getting in all her naps and stuff that she's been missing out on for a while. So,
Aw, that sounds fun.
That's nice.
Yeah.
and I'm still working my way off this con crud.
Oh, you feel awful. Like, what was
Oh.
it? Like a flu kind of thing, or?
No, just
knows?
chest congestion, and like right now it's the slightest little bit, but it has been for about 5 days. Where it's like I feel like I've kicked it, and then I'll go to talk and be like, blah, 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 blah. Like, I gotta cough this out. So almost there.
Well, Theraflu or whatever it is.
Yeah. But like you guys talked about, good TV's coming back on,
Yeah.
and
I think
plenty of
so.
escapes from reality.
Yeah.
Indeed.
I'm depending on that.
It was so funny, Amos. I don't think I've seen you since last week. Rob Dunwood.
Rob Dunwood.
He was like, we just have like so many big people at CES. And I was like, what's that mean? And he was like, literally tall, large people. He's like, Tom's taller than I thought he would be. Amos is way taller than I thought he would be. Jason Howell is really tall.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, you guys are really tall.
We're all
You're-
tall.
Yeah, I'm right about 6'1". Tom's about 6'2". Jason Howell's about 6. I think he said 6'8".
I think he's 6'8". Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the
So-
tallest person I know.
Yeah,
I mean, personally.
we're not the short bunch.
No.
No, it's funny
No.
because I was like, at first the way that he described it, I was like, what? Tall? But he said big. You know, like
Yeah.
big personalities. I'm like, oh, well, yeah, I'm a big person. Yeah. He
Yeah.
was like, no, literally tall people. We're all very tall. Just a bunch of tall men hanging out
Yeah.
at CES. Anyway, I hope you guys had fun.
Which was really funny when all of us were standing there with like Trisha Hirschberger, who's like 5'1".
Yeah.
You guys are all
I
towering.
mean, she's my size, if not smaller.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's saying something.
So yeah, it was fun.
Aw, that's
That's
fun.
good.
What about you, Eileen? You're like
Yeah.
5'5", right?
Yeah, I'm about 5'5". Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, I'm not, I'm in the middle there, you know, I still
Yeah.
have to look up to the tall people, but you know,
Sure. Yeah. Right. Yeah. But you're not the smallest person in the room.
no, never have been.
know,
I
Sarah,
guess when I was a baby.
Right. Right.
I guess when
At
I was
one
a kid,
point you
yeah.
were.
At one point,
Yeah. Right.
My wife claims 5 foot and like she fights for that 5 foot even.
Oh, really?
So like she goes to the doctor and they're like, "How tall are you?" And they do the little measurement. She's like 5 foot, and they're like 5.
She's like, put it
Feet.
on there, 5
Well,
feet.
well, you
Just
know
put
what's
it on
funny?
there.
So I'm 5'2", so I, you know, I'm over 5 feet, but you know, I'm a small person. My mom 5'4", and I always thought when I was, you know, growing up, like, well, my dad was not a tall guy either. You know, he was like 5'9", I think. But I was like, well, just be like 5'4", like my mom. Did not happen. And, you know, like I remember like one year, you know, as, you know, you measure the kid, she was like, I don't think so. I don't think we've grown. It might be it for you, kid. You know, I was
Yeah.
like, oh man, I thought I was going to be 5'4". But then I was like, but why do I care? I don't really think I do care. You know, like what does that get me? If you wanted to play like a certain sport, it would matter. But like I'm like
Or be a fighter pilot.
right, yeah. Like I mean, you know, or like yeah, like be like a horse jockey. You know, like there's like it's all relative. Anyway, my point, and I do have one, is that my mom recently. She was at the doctor, you know, doing her stuff, and they, you know, measured her height, and she was like, Sarah, guess what? And I'm like, what? And she's like, I'm shorter than you now. And I'm like, what? Why? And she's like, because when you get old, you shrink.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I'm like, you
Yeah, you're
shrank 3 inches? And she's like, apparently so. Yeah. Like your joints just like,
Yeah.
you just become smaller.
Cartilage compression and bone
Yeah.
density changes and just overall structure of your body as you kind of hunch over and lose the rigidity in your back. Yeah.
Oh man. I'm like, everybody, let's do some yoga.
So like
Stretch
my
it
wife
out. Well,
my
we
wife
still
is like
can.
right at 5 feet and we have twins. The older twin, who's older by a couple hours, she is just a hair taller than my wife, and the younger twin is just a hair shorter than my wife.
Oh.
And she's so angry about it because
she
our
wanted to be-
12-year-old,
yeah,
they're
same as
22.
the
My
other
12-year-old
sister.
is now taller than both the twins.
Wow.
So they're
Yeah.
like 10 years older than her, and she's taller than both of them. So yeah, it's a cruel world, these genetics.
Yes.
Yeah, I
yes.
don't know. I mean, it's funny. There are people who will say like, "Oh, the taller the better," you know, like that just makes you like a stronger person, like type of thing. And I'm always like, I don't know if that's true. But okay, I get it. I get why some people feel that way about, you know, I don't know, a variety of situations in life. But then Jason Howell and I were flying to Vegas for CES one year. And, you know, in coach, it was like a small plane, you know, from LA. And he was so miserable. He was just like, it wasn't even that somebody had reclined on him. He was just like, I can't fit in here. And he was in the aisle seat. I was in the middle, you know, and like, here I am in the middle, just being like, la, la, la. I have so much room for my legs. You
Yep.
know, and he's just like, I feel like I'm, you know, like I'm going to lose my mind. Like, you know, like, because it's like
Yeah.
when you're too big, like you can't, there are a lot of things that just you can't fit into.
And he's not a wide individual either. He's just tall.
No, he's
pretty
just
skinny,
tall.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, you got those lanky legs. Like, where are you going to put them?
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, it wasn't a long
Meanwhile,
flight.
you guys are over
thankfully.
there kicking your feet, going, "Oh, look, I've got so much room."
Oh, seriously. Like, I literally put an apple box under me when I fly.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, my legs are just like, I need, yeah.
My wife uses her backpack as a footstool.
That's
when
what
she's
I'm
flying.
talking about with the apple
Like
box.
this-
Like, I
I'm-
don't
I'm-
actually pack a real apple box.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, same. Like if I don't have that, I'm like, I can't have my legs dangling for 8
Yeah.
hours.
If my
That's-
wife was
that's
any
insane.
shorter, she'd need upsies to get in the seat.
You know, your wife and I are gonna get along great. One day when we meet, we're just gonna be like, high five, short gang.
Yeah.
Eileen, you're also invited.
Okay, thank you. I am
She'll-
shorter
she'll
than
be
the tall people, so
she'll be the
Yeah.
the tall kid on the on my
Okay.
team.
okay. It stops at my height, right? Yeah.
Yeah. You must be below Eileen's height to join
Yes.
this team.
Okay, there you go.
You must be
Same
this
or
short-
below.
You
Same
must
or
be
below.
this short
Yeah.
to join the podcast. Yeah.
Equal or shorter than.
All right. Well, all right. Let's let Amos go. Thanks to everybody who's been with us live and direct. And we will see you on DTNS Live tomorrow. And we'll see you on AVS next week.
Next week.
All right. Bye.
Bye bye bye.